Welcome to Brainstorm MTG, I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect Doublespeed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have Ryan on Hogaak, a new explosive deck in Legacy. Those of you who enjoyed it in Modern, don't worry, you've got a place where you can still play a super busted graveyard deck that has a ton of resiliency. Matt, on the other hand, playing Eureka, a show and tell variant that has evolved quite a bit over the last couple of months. This is a taping from the very end of August, so he's had about 6 weeks more innovation. He's actually put up some great results recently with the deck. We'll see what build he has here. Looks like Ryan mulliganing down to 5 starting off, leaving him a bit in the hole. And we'll see if this is actually... I believe this is game number 1. They were resetting the life totals there. Stitcher, Supplier, throwing cards into the graveyard, and now Ponder for Matt. I am really looking forward to this match. I have lost to Eureka recently while piloting Burn. It's a very tough match for Burn. And Bloodgas coming back off of this polluted Delta. Stitcher Supplier going to go ahead and swing, and now fetching. Going with basic swamps. Altar of Dementia. And we may see some self-mill coming up fairly soon. City of Trade, or not, City of Traders into Show and Tell. I'm guessing that Matt's card's going to be better. We've got an Emrakul, and Ryan conveniently has 6 permanents. Sacrificing to Altar of Dementia. You get the Stitcher Supplier's trigger along with Altar of Dementia's ability, and that is going to do it. So Ryan packing it in game number 1 there. Show and Tell, Emrakul, good enough in that situation. I often try and explain to people, I've played Show and Tell quite a bit to a decent amount of success, and I would say Show and Tell Emrakul is literally the worst thing that the deck can do. Anything short of that, the deck isn't really even functioning. Like, you wouldn't say like, oh, I drew some cards and did nothing, and that was like my line. Like, any path toward victory is going to be worse, is going to be better, I should say, than Show and Tell Emrakul, which is funny because it's really the thing that people are drawn to about the deck. Like, when you show that to casual players, they're like, oh wow, you can get an Emrakul like on turn 3, like that's crazy, and like that is borderline mulligan territory. Pretty close to mulligan territory, because you could peel like a Lotus Petal or a Soul Land off the top and make it a turn 2 card, turn 2 play. But certainly if you had Show and Tell Emrakul and 5 lands, like that's actually not going to beat that many decks. Like, that's fairly underwhelming. It's not going to outrace a deck like Show and Tell. It could literally lose to a deck like Burn on the draw very easily. So yeah, Show and Tell Emrakul, very often not good enough. There, it was precisely good enough, getting rid of all of Ryan's permanents, and was actually fairly strong, given that it prevented any type of going wide that might have happened with looping Hogaaks. If you can get Hogaaks going with a bunch of Bridge from Belows, they can just cast into each other and then sacrifice to the Altar of Dementias to just generate a massive board. Of course, the way that often would end is you'd mill your opponent out. Unfortunately, you can't really do that when your opponent's playing Emrakul, so any type of Altar of Dementia action is going to be strictly for fueling his own graveyard and potentially getting a whole bunch of bridge tokens off of his own Hogaaks. Lotus Petal and now Tormod's Crypt. A reasonable speed bump, perhaps, but really not the be-all, end-all here. Hogaak can be cast from hand very easily, and he is an 8/8. he does wrap things up pretty quickly. Cabal Therapy. And we see Show and Tell, Eureka. Huh. Why didn't he just Show and Tell Emrakul? Oh, that's an intuition. That makes sense. I was like, why wouldn't he just Show and Tell? So the next turn he can Eureka and put in Emrakul. Intuition played in this build. Of course, it is a Omniscience heavy build because you can put in Eureka off of both Omniscience. You can put in Omniscience off of Eureka and Show and Tell. Contrast that with Sneak and Show, where your sneak attacks actually have no synergy with the Omnisciences. And now Cabal Therapy stripping both Emrakuls out of Matt's hand, so he has Eureka and nothing to do with it. This is one situation where you're much better off with Sneak Attack. If this was a red-based version, he could get that into play and potentially top deck a threat. As it sits now, it's just vulnerable in his hand. Cabal Therapy being sacrificed, that's going to grab the Eureka, and this is going very well for Ryan. Matt's hand in absolute shambles after Cabal Therapy getting 3 cards out of it. End of turn Intuition. And we'll see what he drew. If he drew one of his combo pieces, he may have just rebounded just like that. Show and Tell in hand. I don't think you want to pull the trigger on that until you actually have something to go along with it. Matt, an experienced enough player to do that, and there we go, another Show and Tell Emrakul. His resources nearly totally depleted, and he's able to top deck an Emrakul after 2 of them shuffled into the library, and Intuition functioning as an instant speed tutor. End of turn. Ryan left presumably shaking his head at that absolute turn of events where he was so far ahead, and then just like that, Emrakul steals another game right out from under him. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.